with you all. It's Romania Black, and it's like 9:30 at night, and I did some work outside with my family on our farm. I got dirty and grungy, and so I took a shower, and then I was like, I got like a second wind, and I thought, you know, I want to watch something, but what do I want to watch? And I was like, oh, Gachiakuta. So, we're on episode 5, and yeah, I was like, I can't wait. I need to know, now that Rudo has been introduced properly to the cleaners, to Rio, to everyone else, the supports and all that. We've met a Simiu, we have some mystery surrounding the boss, we have theories. I'm super excited to see what all we're gonna get. But yeah, we've also had some really fun comments over on Patreon and YouTube for this series. So I agree with pretty much everybody I've talked to in the comments. Episode 2 is like what got me into this series, and now I'm hooked. Now I'm like, all right, let's go. But I do have 2 really quick comments I want to talk about before we start. Adversity 12 for episode 2 says, fun fact, the shot of Injin holding the umbrella over Rudo is a reference to Kisuke Urahara holding his umbrella over Ichigo in Bleach. And I was like, oh, I'm a massive Bleach fan. And the moment they said that, I was like, that is so it. It is the scene. I feel like part of me was like, I've seen this before, but I didn't remember where. That's the scene. So kudos to this mangaka for paying homage to Kubo. The fact that there are mangaka old enough to pay homage to Kubo is... I'm getting old. But I thought that was really cool. And then Rast for episode 3, so we were talking about like the fan fiction in episode 3, and they were like, the fanfics for this show are great. Quote, lots of soul sex and vital instruments resonating and sharing. I'm like, oh, I can only imagine. The worst part about being a reactor in a series when you like shipping, the worst part is that I have to wait and I can't see and read fan fiction because of spoilers. So... needless to say, after this season is over, I don't know, I might be looking up some fan fiction. I usually am careful because I know people will be like, oh, watch out for manga spoilers. Usually if AO3 tags like manga spoilers, I'm like, okay, not reading that. But I'm like, if I get through season 1, then maybe I can watch it and it'll be all right. But anyway, I've had so much fun with this series. It has been an absolute blast. Before we get started with this episode, real quick, I want to give a shout out over to our philanthropy tier over on Patreon to thank everybody for their support. You all are really appreciative. And we have some new people that are on the list for this month. So... from our commission tier, Sunspots, Zachiel, Username123, and Jason N get a special shout out, but also those on our philanthropy tier, which are Alexandra Q, Be Happy, Dana, Alex Cornejo, Violet Stardust, Bia Doobie, as well as Destiny Marie. We're rhyming here today. Diana Williams, Daniel Devorin, Damage3245, Eric Ichu, Fisho, Ghostly Turnip, James, Jessica Cullen, Lyndon, Elfreya, Murphew, Nicholas, Poppy, Jack Witt, Rose Jennison, Rast, Sugamom, Shimoyama, Translucent Men, Yannon, and Zero Anti-Zero. Thank you all so much for supporting me and my Patreon. I really appreciate it. All of my love. And please give a like to this video and comment your thoughts down below. I would love to talk to you all about it. I'm all about talking to people about these shows, or at least hearing your comments and what you have to say about it. I would love to hear that. So with that being said, we're not gonna waste any more time. I've been so excited. I'm like, I've got a little bit of decaf, mind you, coffee here because I'm wired and I'm ready to go. So we are gonna get started with Gachiakuta. I'm so excited to be able to watch the OP and ED in full as well. Episode 5, and we're gonna do that here in 3, 2, 1, and let's do it to it. Well, I was not expecting this to be a setup episode. What? Oh my gosh. So, okay, the leader of the Raiders is kind of scary, and I don't know what to do with them. So there's that. But man, Zanka was getting into his own. Zanka was having a moment. Zanka was doing things great. And then purple and green are my favorite colors. So the purple vibes with the purple lanterns and everything, I'm here for it, but... I also think of that. Is it LaBouche? It's a song from the 90s, like, call him Mr. Raider, call him Mr. Wrong, D. Look it up. It's from the 90s. It fits the vibe of this moment with the Raiders very well. I think it does, at least. Y'all need to look up that song. But I was like, Mr. Wrong. Like, I had that song like bumping in my head during the battle, and I was like, okay, cool. So yeah, look up Mr. Raider. It'll be great. But yeah, we need to get started talking about this episode. This episode was very interesting. I definitely could see before the OP happened here in 3, 2, 1, I definitely felt like this first part of the episode with the aftermath of Rio and the supporters felt like a manga chapter in itself. And then the manga chapter ended with the guy ripping out the tongue of the dude that tried to capture Rudo. So there's that, but we're not there yet. So I really liked the first part of this episode, though, where everybody was like celebrating. Zanka, of course. Zanka, the moment he yawned, I was like, hey, baby, want to yawn too? I can't help it when I see people yawn on screen. I'm like, now you got me going too. And it's late at night. So I also like Zonka's like his comfy like blue pajamas that he's like wearing around, his like shawls and everything. And then he's like, what's going on in the dining hall? Why are they having a late night party? Also, Zonka's eyebrows. I feel you. I don't have a lot of eyebrows either. So I feel you, Zanka. But my dude, they're so intriguing. So he opens up the door. And okay, speaking of like reminding me of stuff, Rio's like mint green shirt with her bright red hair, I was getting Roxanne vibes from a Goofy movie, like from her attire this whole time. Everything in this episode felt like a reference. But yeah, so we get to see a couple of the cleaners and supporters. Poor Zanka. Zanka's like, what the fudge? She's like, I'm trying to go to sleep. Y'all are having a party in here. What is happening? I like this background artwork. It's really cool. So we see the really cute, the cute giver that has like the two-toned hair, looks like Cynthia from Rugrats, has the overalls on, and then the one that like is cosplay ready, that has like the blood-stained gloves, what the fudge, and the like hood there. That's a fun time. So yeah, they all look like an interesting group. And then I like that, even as we are cleaners and supporters playing a game of poker, we are health conscious. The salads are a nice choice. Glad we're watching our cholesterol while we're down here on the ground. We got enough poisons to worry about. But yeah, some like, feels like Cowboy Bebop references. There's some shady guys here drinking the booze, but it's just this big party. Rio is super scrawny. Girl is super skinny, even as much as she eats and drinks. Like, to have your metabolism, girl. And Zonka's like barely awake. He's like, what is going on? And she's like, it's nighttime, dude. And she's like, this is a welcome to the ground party for Rudo. I feel like it's very appropriate. He's like, this is just an excuse for everybody to drink. And she's like, everybody's letting their hair down. It's fine. I like that Rio makes hair references even when she's not using her scissors. And then Zanka looks over and finds Rudo. That kills me. Like, I feel so bad for our little bean because he's so depressed. But just like the cut to him at the table, he just slumped over. Oh my gosh, our poor sweetheart. I was like, what are we to do with him? He's like, the man of the hour doesn't seem too happy. And she's like, yeah, he's been in a bad mood since his instrument crapped out. And I'm like, Zanka, isn't it your job to train him with said instrument? What you been doing, bro? And then they talk about the trash beast that has the vital instrument in the center of it. She's like, I don't know what to do about it. And then I love that she goes, I don't know what to do about it, but you know what? I'm going to leave that to someone with a higher pay grade. I like Rio. She's a woman after my own heart. I've been in her shoes. And I'm like, I could sit and worry about this a lot. Or the people that are getting paid more than me, they can worry about it. Love it. I love her. She's great. So yeah, she's like, I'm just going to eat some more food instead. And Zanka's like, really? We're not going to worry anymore about this? So Injin and Simiu said they would come by after they talked. And that's when Zanka starts paying attention because Zanka has a huge, massive crush on Injin, which I feel like that is a very one-sided crush. I do not think that Injin has the same crush at all. at all. If Engine has a crush on anybody, it's the graffiti artist, but we're going to talk more about that. Look at him! He looks like a little bug. Look at him, our poor little kitten boy. Like, he's so depressed. I just want to give him the biggest hug. I can't with his giant bug eyes. And then, guess who shows up but the hottest man in this show? Griss Rubion. Griss has my heart. Like, Engine, I am very much into Engine as a character. He's wonderful, but this man can support me any day. This man, I won't talk down to you, sir. I'm not one bit. He looks amazing. I freaking love Griss. Like, the hair, the scar, the eyes. He is checking off all of the boxes. The deep-ass voice, checking off all the boxes. And Griss is like, okay, have any of you seen Ace of the Diamond? If you've not seen Ace of the Diamond, you should go watch it. It's a very long sports anime. It's the slowest of slow burns, but it is so worth it. But there's a character named Chris in that series. Griss and Chris. If you told me Griss was inspired by Chris, I would believe you. Like, just the deep voice, the compassion, basically a social worker. There's so many things that are similar. I just love it. And Rudo's like, you protected Folo from the trash beast. He's like the young supporter, the one with the goggles. And he's like, oh yeah, him. Which, without the hat, he looks way younger. Without the hat, when it's just like his little haircut, he looks way younger than he is. He seems like a new recruit. And then Rudo's like, I needed your help, and it was the same up there. I kept losing my head and lashing out, and Regto had to cover my ass. And so Rudo's like, up there, I was relying upon Regto to keep me safe, and down here, I can't defend myself. I have to rely upon you and Rio and the others. He's like, I want to be able to defend myself and be able to, he's like, I need to get back up there. He's like, I want to get back up to the sphere because I have people to see, I have revenge to be taken, and all that. He's like, but I'm not any different. And so he's like, until I grow and I'm able to, fight back, what's the point of me going up there? Because what good is it going to solve? And he's like, why am I like this? And I just love that Griss is so open-minded. He's so kind. He's so genuine. He just, takes it all in, and he offers him some, legit feedback. And I'm like, Griss is a man after my own heart. Because, he says, most people see supporters and think that we're weaklings. But you actually, he's like, there are cleaners that think that way about us as well, but you're not like that. He's like, you actually see us as equals. And I'm like, that is one of Rudo's strengths. Rudo does not he doesn't see cliques. He doesn't see status or classism. He just sees people, right? And he's he says that Folo is trying to develop a bond with an instrument so that he can stay a supporter, but become a giver as well. I did not know that you could, become a giver if you weren't. Interesting, but maybe he's trying. I hope Folo can do it. Good for him. I get kind of death flags for Griss and Folo. I get little bitty death flags. I don't like it because I like Griss a lot, so I would like them to stay alive in this series, please. But I don't know if that's gonna happen or not. There's some death flags around them. And then he's like, Rudo, set aside ideas about getting stronger and being what others want, and instead do what you want to do. It's he's like, if you're trying to impress people, it's there's always going to be somebody bigger and better, but you need to focus on what do you want? What are your end goals? What are you striving to get accomplished? And Rudo's like, what do I have always wanted to do? He's like, before you came to the ground, before whatever happened up there, when you were on the sphere, what was your goals? And Rudo's like, to survive? I feel as though Rudo's whole thing was he just wanted acceptance. He just wanted to be accepted, and he just wanted to survive and then find his niche in the world and move past the reputation that his father had, and that didn't get accomplished up there. So in a lot of ways too, again, I don't know if you've seen the show Windbreaker. If not, I have reactions on my channel. You should watch it. The main character of Windbreaker has some similar conflicts that Rudo does as well. So it's kind of interesting to see it from this perspective, with him? Was there something you wanted to do? And he's like, just return to those first principles. And if you do that, the path for what you want should be clear. Like, this man is so sincere and nice. I freaking love him. I love Griss. Griss is great. Like, just hashtag Griss is great. And he's like, look, you're still alive. And now you have Regto, Griss, and Injin in the and Rio in the Rudo head pats society. I don't think Zanka's giving him a head pat. I don't think Zanka wants to give him a head pat. But yeah, and that is Rudo's love language. If you can give him a head pat. And then in comes Injin with his freaking giant, massive hands and big old face. And Rudo's like, what the fudge? She's like, what's with you? I definitely get with Injin. I get like Big Brother vibes. Injin gives like Griss is giving the uncle vibes, like uncle with the good advice vibes. Injin is giving like Big Brother. Like, I'm your big bro. What up? Like, just, he gives like the sibling vibes. And poor Rudo, he's like, I was an orphan my whole life. I don't know how to deal with this. But he's like, have you eaten anything? And then Rio's like, hey, eat something. Girl, that thigh gap, you need to... She is eating food, so I can't get onto her, but damn, that metabolism. They still eat all of your food if you don't get it soon. And he's like, let's go over and have our fill, Rudo. I love that. And then they all like, you have Rio and Zanka. Injin and Griss look amazing. Injin and Griss, love them. Love them both so much. I think it's kind of interesting that it shows Rudo like leaving the table. So it's curious what that could represent. Like, because normally you think of them all coming to the table as this like family or group, but in this he's kind of like leaving behind the structural, like he's been so worried about fitting into the structure and making it work. And here Griss is like, just do what you do best. Who cares about the rest? And so the idea of him leaving that structure behind to join the cleaners is kind of cool. And I'm all about a found family. I'm all about a found family. I'm all about like, you know, bonding with these people and finding a place of belonging and a safe space. I'm all about that narrative. So this all works very well. Also, the two-toned cleaner that has like the bib, like overall dress and the two-toned hair, I'm so fascinated by them. With the pacifier, so fascinated by them. So then we have this one cleaner that seems, I'm assuming they're a cleaner, that have this graffiti going on. I think it's hilarious that, to be fair, if you've ever used spray paint before, which I have used spray paint before, it stinks. It leaves a haze. You get a contact high. You know, I feel for the people that are like, hey, open up a window and vent this place out. It's just funny that as they're tagging, you see Injin with the cigarette, like not contributing to the clean air at all, like making it worse. But I'm so curious, we don't get to see their face either. He's like, watch this one, Rudo. That's Job. He says Gob. I think of Job from Arrested Development. He never deviates from what he wants to do. And I kind of love the use of Gob. They say Gob with a hard G. So I like the use of Gob because it shows like, it seems like it's not much on the surface what he's doing. It seems messy and unorganized. It doesn't seem to have like a focus. But then once he starts to like outline the letters, you're like, oh, this is the background. This is the foreground. This is the lettering. Like it's one of those trust the process moments. And Injin seems to be showing Rudo that, you know, you don't have to, it doesn't have to look fully formed from the get-go. You can have an idea of what you want to do and work towards completing that idea and getting it like finalized, and that's okay. So I liked that. I thought that we don't get to see his face or much about Job. Also, it was kind of weird because I had a friend in college who's, when they said Gob, like his nickname was Goob with an extra O, and he did some graffiti art. So like I was kind of thrown back by that. I was like, oh, what an almost coincidence. Crazy. But yeah, it freaking stinks. And then Injin's like just contributing with the cigarette. Gets me. Also, this man is huge. Like, Injin's a big old man. You've been by a lot lately. And he says, yes, there's more script I want to tag. I'm like, is this sex talk? And by script I want to tag, are you referring to Injin? Like with his tattoos and everything? Like, is Injin all about this? Like, do you guys have a secret thing going on that nobody knows about? Like, am I crack shipping you all already? Gob and Injin? He's like, as long as it's not more poop. He's like, can't promise you that one. And his eyes are green. Okay. Interesting. And Rudo's like, what? But yeah. And then we have him drawing this really sick graffiti name. Nice. I don't know. I'm very curious. I want to know more about Gob. And like, do him and Injin have a thing going on? Are they brothers? Do they have a thing? They're both blonde. But like, very curious. I don't know what to make of them. But anyway, that's like a mystery in itself. Like, who is Gob? What's his giver status? Why is Injin fascinated with him? What does Rudo think of him? We don't get to know. Instead, we go here, and there's... Okay, so those guys that are on the ground look like they might have been guys that came in with the other dude. And, like, why does he have this mountain of trash? Or is it, like rubble? And why has he got a couch there by the lantern? And he's like, you've done enough. I told you everything. And he's like, oh, okay, I'll let you go. That's crazy. Ew. Nope, he's got these, like, Edward Scissorhands. Nope, I don't know what his giving status is, but I'm not here for it. And he's like, yeah, white hair that gets darker on the ends. And what else do you use to describe him? That's a great shot there. Yeah, that gets darker at the ends. And under eye circles, a spherite giver. Sounds like a great souvenir. So I definitely get the impression that they are gathering up like just relics to put on display, and Rudo is this relic that they want now. Neat. We start out the episode with Simiyu, though, who is apparently awaiting a phone call. Like, she seems like she's been knowing this phone call is coming. And says, this is the cleaners. Do you have a request? I wonder, since, here's my crackpot theory, since Simiyu and Injin were meeting beforehand, she seemed like she was expecting this call. I'm wondering if they got a lead on the Raiders, and she sent Rudo and all of them to go investigate. Because I was like, this seems rather suspicious. You just sent Rudo by himself with the supporters and Zanka without, like, checking in on this. Because, you know, a spherite seems like a pretty big deal. But I think that Injin and Simiyu had figured out it was a setup, and that they've got something going on in the wings behind the scenes that's going to come out maybe next episode. I don't know. I'm just taking a stab at the dark here, literally. But they're like, we have a request. And I like that Zonka's like, why is Rudo here? He's like, I didn't think that he was coming on missions officially until he was a cleaner. Apparently, a merchant was attacked by a trash beast and then wants us to clean up the beast and retrieve the stolen cargo. But a living person apparently came down from the sphere. And we find out later, because at first I was like, this seems, you know, too weird to be true. Like, two people from the sphere coming down, like, within a few days and weeks of each other and surviving and running into merchant stuff. It seemed too good to be true. And plus, I was like, you would think Injin would be involved in researching that further, but I think he's, like, doing some reconnaissance around the Raiders, and he's going to be our Deus Ex Machina maybe next episode. We'll see. Or he might be watching to see how Rudo handles the situation, and next episode, if Rudo gets his powers back in, like, a moment of desperation. I don't know. We're going to see. We're going to see how that's going to go. But it's very curious that Injin's not there. And Griss has my freaking heart. Griss has my heart. Like, in any other shonen, they would have been like, okay, Rudo, we're going on this mission. We found somebody else from the sphere that are there. We're going to use you to, like, figure out why they're here and what's going on. And you want to know more info. We want to know more info. And we're going to use you and figure it out. Griss being like, it's up to you if you want to go or not. Like, Griss knows that this is a very tender subject for Rudo and that Rudo has every right to turn it down. I'm like, to offer Rudo some agency in all of this, Griss, you saintly man. I would love to invite you over for tea. And he's like, I can't use my power well. And Rudo's trying to weigh his options. He's like, if I go, I could be a burden. And I couldn't, I might need everyone to protect me again. But if I don't go and I lose this chance to get a hint of what's going on in the sphere and how to get back, then I might regret it. And I wondered, too, if they brought Rudo along. At first, I wondered if the whole spherite thing was just a red herring and they wanted to see how Rudo would react. Or if rather everyone thought the spherite was real and they wanted to see how Rudo would react. Like, would Rudo stay loyal to the cleaners? Would he try to grab the spherite and run and then figure things out for himself? I felt like it was a way of testing him, right? From the way that Zanka looked over at him. Because he seems like, I don't fully trust you. And then Simiyu says, I initially planned to send Engine with you, but he had another job to take care of. And I believe he said, girl, they'll be fine with Zanka along, or something like that. Simiyu knows. She knows that Zanka has a massive, one-sided crush on Engine, and he would be very willing to take on the mission for that sake. Sure. And so then they ask, what Griss does. Again, this seems a little bit like foreshadowing and seems a bit ominous. He's like, I have a knife for self-defense, but I fight barehanded. And that's when Folo says he has a talisman. This seems ominous. The shot of him, praying with the light coming down. That looks so angelic. And I'm kind of like, is this foreshadowing that this man is going to die? I don't want Griss to die. He's really great. And I love him. But this feels like I need more context. Why is he praying to the talisman, the light, all that in the locker room? I need more context. I need basically more Griss in my life in this series. Please and thank you. And he gets really embarrassed. You can see him kind of blush a little bit when Folo says that. And he's like, everybody knows it. What's the big deal? And Rudo's like, he's a really nice guy. So we find out the talisman is this hand with the eye on it. It looks kind of spiritual. Looks a little spooky tarot. And then there's this mud woman. And everybody's just kind of like, oh, hi. Creepy as snot. The mud people were creepy. I had not thought about the idea of the mud being used as a vital instrument. And Rudo's like, where is the spherite? She's like, I was carrying my cargo when I happened upon them and took them in. I was worried about them too. That's why I wanted to get them back from the trash beast. And Rudo gets mad at the moment. He's like, you were going to sell them off, right? And she's like, oh, well, goodness, no. The moment that the mud woman was like, well, certainly not. I was really worried. I was like, I don't know. I'm kind of with Rudo. I don't believe this. What I was not expecting was for this woman to not be real, to be a marionette made of mud. That was creepy. But they all get taken. And Zanka's like, look, the odds of someone from the sphere landing and being here within a few days or weeks of Rudo and living without being a giver themselves is pretty rare and kind of unusual. And he's like, I don't know, this feels off. Something's not sitting right with me. So yeah, she's like, it ran in there. I was getting my hopes up. I was like, oh, another spherite. I was like, is it the girl? Is it Chiwa? Is it one of the guys that were bullying him? Is it the mass murder? I was getting my hopes up that it was a real spherite. And from a distance, when they first get in the building and you look down, from a distance, if you look over, one of those graffitis had a halo. From there, in this thumbnail, I know showing it up here, you can't see it very well. I thought it kind of looked like Chiwa. So for a second, I was like, oh my God, it is her. I'm like, and then no, it turns out to be a doll. Yep. And she pushes them over to where she had marked. Yep. That looked kind of like Chiwa from a distance, but nope. She had marked the mud with her trowel and then they all fell down. And like, oh, the spherite's right there. The spherite giver. And we see, and then that's when Zanka's like, okay, I get it. I thought something was off. Purple electric lanterns. Y'all set us up. These designs with the scarecrow patchwork, like motif and everything. This felt very Soul Eater. Like everything about her with like the vibe, like the braids and everything. I know that this mangaka worked for the creator of Soul Eater. This is a very Medusa like setup. If you know Medusa from Soul Eater, you know what I'm talking about. This just the design and the facial expressions were giving Medusa vibes. I don't know what this guy's vital instrument is. We don't know what's going on, but in any case, try not to yawn. Zanka's got me yawning. Oh my god. But Griss explains that the raiders started out as just a band of thieves, and they're mostly givers, but now their methods have gotten more sadistic the last few years, and they've gotten more power. And Rudo's like, oh, cool. Nice. Vigilante ground folks that are also givers. I want to know more about her. The guy with the glasses is interesting, but I want to know more about her, who's there with Folo. With her braid, want to know more about this supporter here. And he's like, Zanka, can you handle him? And he's like, yep. He's like, I like that Zanka's like, I don't love the idea, but sure, why not? Good for him. And so, yeah, they make Rudo go. And again, Rudo is like, he's like, we need to get away from now. And he's like, this again. So, of course, Rudo feels inadequate. He feels like he's not doing his part. He's not living up to the standards that he's supposed to. And then Zanka's like, if you want the spherite, you got to go through me. So, yeah, they're like, we could sell him off the street, but we don't want to sell him. We want to know more about the sphere. I'm like, joke's on them. Joke's on them when they interview Rudo, and Rudo's like, I was from the slums of the sphere. I'm no better off than you. Sorry, not the person you should be interviewing. That's like, I feel like that's going to be the big, like fake out when they're like, we want to know about the sphere. And he's like, what about it? How do you make it across the border without dying? Now, at that point, Zanka's like, wait, what border? What are we talking about? Border? So I'm curious. What is it about the border? And what border is she talking about? Is she talking about the border like when you enter the ground? Like when you fall, like why you didn't die? Or is she talking about the border like him going into the slums? Or like when he was getting like infiltrating for the trash? Like what does she mean by border? That was literally the only thing I was going to write on Whiteboard Kun is what border? And so something's going on that Zanka, who's fairly young, doesn't know about. He's like, if this was for a trap to get Rudo, that means there's no trash beast, right? And they say no, but there are these like mud marionettes. And he's like, oh, well, this is not as imposing or threatening as the trash beast, so we got this. I love the idea of the trowel, okay? Two things. One, the trowel as a vital instrument is really fun. I think it's cool, like the idea of gardening and you're like using the trowel as a device. But the thing that's cool about it that is kind of like unique is that the trowel itself is not emitting a power or being used to create an attack, but anything the trowel touches becomes either the marionettes or the mud that can trap people. That's kind of crazy. I had not thought of vital instruments emitting that sort of like range or ability, so cool. Okay. I don't know what the guy's ability is. I don't think we ever got that, what instrument he used. He had the shoes. I guess the shoes were so he could walk on the mud. But yeah, he hid in the mud monsters. And so from there, she says, well, you all are used to fighting trash beasts. You are not used to fighting human opponents. And Zanka's like, well, it's not much different, is it? She's like, you get to try to pick out which one's real. And it was fun watching Zanka fight. There was one, I guess I don't know what the one guy's ability is. We don't really get to find out at the moment. Maybe we'll find out later. It's like the lady uses her shovel to control the mud, and the man uses a vital instrument to deal damage. We don't exactly know what that is. He's like, all you guys do is just punch. He's like, so you're not really that strong. There's just a lot of you in numbers. I like that Zanka's like, he has this hopeless crush on Injin and he's shipping these two villains. It's a fun time. But he's like, I may have less experience than you, but I know my vital instrument better. The weight, the smell, the texture. Every morning I ask how it's doing and I give it the care it needs. Every single solitary day I see what happens. And if I strike something with it, how hard and fast and where it goes flying, I commit it all to memory. So to make short, I can use this kind of thing. And I love that he uses his staff as like, not exactly a dowsing rod, not exactly witching water, but like using it to create this echo in the ground and determine where she is and then single her out. Like that was so freaking cool. I loved that. Yep, because he sees in that moment, like of them all running, he sees the one with the signature that has the guy in it. And he's like, there you are. Love that. And then knocks her. It's great. And he's like, those things all fall apart in one hit. And then jump scare. Why is there a jump scare? There's this guy. What the fudge? Nope. Nope. Nope, 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 nope. Not having that at all. Not having that at all. No. And then it cuts to the credits. I'm like, are you kidding? Like, what? Not fair. Not fair at all. Damn it. I was not expecting that cliffhanger, and I was not expecting this guy to just, like, pop out of nowhere against Zanka. I was not expecting that at all. So, that's creepy, and I don't like it. So this episode was very much a setup. It was like episode 5 was the aftermath of episode 4, and now the setup of episode 6. And I'm like, but I really liked it. It was good. I'm glad we have some Zanka adventures going on, because I was like, we had a whole episode with Rio, and now it looks like we're getting 2 with both Griss and Zanka. So I'm excited about that. But damn, what we gonna do, y'all? So anyway, I'm excited to hear your thoughts down below about this episode and about Griss. Let's praise Griss. Please praise Griss and Folo, but also we can praise Zanka as well, and the mud monsters and all of that. We're getting some cool and intricate uses of the tools, which is fun. So I'm curious to know your thoughts down below, but I hope you enjoyed this reaction and discussion. Make sure that you like the video, subscribe if you want to watch Gachiakuta with me on a lovely Friday morning, Central Standard Time, every Friday. And then also subscribe to the channel and support me, and I will talk to you all very soon. But I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and I'm going to call it a night, but I'm going to be back very soon with more Gachiakuta. And I'll see you then.